So welcome to 25x Trading, where we leverage out your account so this way you can maximize your profits the same way the banks do. We give you 25 times leverage on stocks, equities, anything that you want to trade. It's your capital. So when you're trading, you can maximize the movements. Instead of waiting for a $2 winner, you can wait for a 5-cent winner. So you tighten up your stops and you make it a lot more effective. Now, I've heard a lot of people say, doesn't that increase your risk? Of course it does. If you don't know what you're doing, it is going to increase your risk. If you don't put a proper stop in, if you don't see where your entry is and your exit is, then yes, you're going to have problems, no doubt about it. What we want to talk about today, aside from having entries and exits and making sure that you can properly control your initial investment, so this way you're not maximizing the risk, is trading addictive and why? This is what you have to think about, and you have to do a deep dive into who you are. So yes, day trading can be very highly addictive. I've been doing this for over 30 years. Most of my friends, co-workers, peers, we've all been doing this for a long time. And yes, all of us at one time or another, whether it's in the beginning, somewhere down the line, we get into a scenario where you feel like you're a little bit out of control. You start chasing, revenge trading, you feel like you missed it, you start doubling down, and that ends up causing you to have very, very bad habits. Very similar to if you were gambling with blackjack, roulette, slot machines, whatever it is. Now, do some people make money playing blackjack? Of course they do. Do some people make money playing roulette? Yes. Baccarat? Everything. But they're playing the strategy and sticking to that strategy. It's not a guess and see. It's not any type of scenario where they're rolling the dice, so to speak. It's a concentrated effort on the mathematics, and at that point they're willing to take losses because they know the odds are in their favors if they do that. Now, there's luck. Sometimes the luck is in your position, sometimes it's not. The same thing with trading. So with basically with trading, it's so fast paced that it does give you a high reward when you're successful. And that high reward is going to trigger dopamine responses in the brain. Very, very much so. You get that euphoric high, and that euphoric high is basically going to say, oh my God, yeah, I'm the king of the world. Okay? So 100%, that's what it's going to do. And it's dangerous because it also says once you start hitting those highs that I'm impervious to losses. And then you start basically chasing losses, neglecting daily responsibilities, and taking extreme risk. Once you start taking risks that are outside your comfort zone, that's when you become a problem. So 25x Trading, what we do is we limit the amount of leverage you have in the beginning. In fact, we don't let you trade in the beginning. We basically say we want you on a simulator where it costs you nothing. It's a free simulator. Again, it's a free simulator. We want you to prove to us that you can handle your money. If you can handle your money by doing it in a simulator, and again, it's a simulator, so emotion is definitely not in the equation, but that's what we want to see is, can you handle the mathematics of it? If you can, then we start you off in a very small leverage position of 5x. So for $3,000, you would have control of $15,000. Your money. You're not sharing that with us. That's your money. What that allows you to do at that point is say, okay, fine. Then we also put stops in. Daily stops, So this way, your losses will be X amount. No matter what you do, we shut you down after a certain period of time. If you, in the beginning, if your loss is $300, you have to calculate that. We'll tell you what your loss is, the maximum loss that you can have, and at that point, you have to figure out, all right, if it's $300, I never want to get to that $300, and then this is going to turn around. You have to think that, okay, I think this is going up or going down, whatever it is. What's the limit I'm willing to take out? And it's $300, let's just say. At that point, I've got to figure out how far down or up the stock can go against me before I'm going to be taken out. If I feel it's a worthy risk, so if I'm at a $10 and I'm willing for it to go to $8.50, that's $1.50 a share. So that means at that point, I would be willing to take 200 shares at $1.50 at $300 to be taken out. Now, I can't chase. So if I get to $8.50 and it goes down to $8.30, I can't say I'll triple up my investment at this point. I know it's going to go up. Because sometimes at $8.30, you're right, there might be a rebound, but more than likely, you're still going to see basically a drip down effect. So that's what we try to preach, is that when you lose, understand you're losing and walk away. That's what you need to do. Now, most of this stuff is going through the Gateway Foundation, which I'm going to show you the link at afterwards, okay? Signs of trading addiction, okay? Compulsive behavior. How many of you have put a trade in and then 2 seconds later, you've done the opposite? You've closed it out and gone the other way. Or you put a trade in and then you cancel it out and you put another trade in and then boom, 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 boom. And then you start to feel like you're out of control. That's true. Chasing losses. If you're continuing to trade to win back money, that's only going to lead to more losses. I've had trades where I've lost my first trade initially, whether it's thousands, tens of thousands, whatever it's going to be, okay? And I've spent the rest of the day trying to pace myself back. And sometimes I have, and other times I've lost more money, because it's very hard to look at a trade that I've lost $2,000 in and say, okay, I'm going to take 200 here, 200 there, 200 there. You want all $2,000 back. But remember, once you close out the day, it's over with. And then the next day, you've got to start fresh. There's a philosophy in this that when you start in the morning, it's the birth of your trading day. You trade during that day, whatever happens, happens, and at the end of that trading day, it's the death of that day. So it closes it out. Whether you're profitable that day or you're negative that day is pushed aside. The next day, you have to clear out your mind, and it's just about that day. That's it. You can't bring in the past. You can't bring in whether you won big or lost big. How many of you have won huge and then the next day you ramp it up and you lose big? Happens to a lot of people that I know. So it's start the day, execute the day, close the day. That's it. Chasing losses, neglecting your life. How much time are you actually putting into it? Now, it's a job. It's a career choice that you want to make. I understand. But how much can you literally look at something and then think about it, worry about it, fret about it, and then constantly just ruminate about it over and over, okay? If it's taking precedence and you are not working basically with relationships and sleep, and you're not having a good life, guess what? You've totally lost already, regardless if you're making money or not. And the reason why is most people, if not all, get into this, number one, to create the life that they dream of, to have that added income or income that gives them the freedom to not work for a boss. If you're studying this 24/7 and you're neglecting everything else, guess what? Then at that point, you've created something that's worse than a job. You're never shutting it off at that point. Emotional highs and lows. This, to me, is the hardest thing possible to avoid. Because when you execute and you have a tremendous win, nothing feels better. Nothing, it's such an intense feeling that you have a huge daily profit, and then on the opposite end, a huge daily loss is completely the opposite. You're looking at it saying, how stupid could I have been to basically have gone into that? There is no emotion when it comes to it. There will always be emotion, don't get me wrong. You'll always feel emotional about it, but the intensity of what happens should not be personal. If it's personal, you're trading way, way too much without enough parameters on there to control the risk that you're putting up there. Again, if your emotions are too high and too low, you're risking way too much, and you have not enough parameters to catch your faults. So you need to constantly put in there enough safety guards or fail safes that you're not going to be out there basically one trade is live or die. If that happens, you have problems. You always want to have enough to fight for another day. Lying, that's on you, okay? If you're lying, hiding the extent of trading activity or financial losses from family, guess what? You can answer that question yourself, because at that point, you really, really are only fooling yourself. And at that point, you have to take a gut check, and you have to say, what am I going to do to basically get myself out of it? That's the main thing. Now, why is it so addictive? Because just like everything that's out there, gambling has become a huge, huge business. It always has been a huge business, but the accessibility right now, you can go onto Robinhood, you can go into all these apps, and I don't recommend using apps because so many times you make a quick knee-jerk reaction. You're not sitting down, you're not poised, you're not concentrating, and you make a trade, and then 2 seconds later you get out of the trade because you don't know why you made the trade. Trading on a mobile app gamifies it, and that's one of the worst things that you can do. You have to treat this like a business. This is a business that if I'm going through McDonald's at a drive-thru and I execute a trade, and by the time I go to pick up my order, whether I made money or lost money, that's stupid. That's absolutely stupid. What was that? Was that an educated guess, or was that just purely gambling? And that's the difference. When I put in a trade, I study it prior to the market opening. I sit down, I clear my head of everything that's going out there. I have a game plan of what I plan on doing. I look at the moment at time I want to trade, at what levels I want to trade, at what levels I'm going to get out of, at what levels I want to get into. Those are what I do. If it doesn't happen, then I won't trade. Simple as that. If you're in a car, or you're in the subway, or you're in a class studying, and you see a trade just out of nowhere, guess what? You're only fooling yourself. You will lose, okay? Yeah, you might win once in a blue moon because you guessed right, but note the key word. It's guessing. It's absolutely guessing. Now, why people do it is, it gives you a positive reinforcement. The same way that when Calcius gives you a win. The same exact thing. Negative reinforcement, it helps you escape from boredom or depression. Simple as that, okay? So when you start looking at it, there's a lot of different things you can say. Now, one of the things you want to talk about is, how do you avoid gambler's addiction in day trading? First off, you've got to educate yourself. You have to educate yourself. If you don't educate yourself and you don't enjoy reading about technical and fundamental analysis, market trends, economic indicators, then guess what? You're not doing it the right way. It becomes very, very much a tool. Knowledge is a trader's most powerful tool. Number two, you have to develop a trading plan. The same way as if you were a baseball player. If you're going up there free swinging and you haven't figured out who the pitcher is, you don't know what they're going to throw you. You have no idea. You're just going to be, hey, I'm going to swing the bat every time the pitcher throws me the ball. You don't know what the pitch is. You don't know what the scenario is. You don't know how fast he's throwing. Anything. So the same way, you need to develop a trading plan. And what I mean by that is set clear, achievable goals. Establish a plan that includes specific entry and exit points, your risk management strategies, and limits on how much you're willing to lose. Prioritize your risk management. Use stop loss orders. Avoid over leveraging, again, what we're talking about, and diversify. Control your emotions. Avoid making trades based on feelings or impulses. Stick to your strategy. And that's why, again, when we talk about trading on apps, you're gamifying it. It's very emotional. And then focus on the long-term success. What I mean by long-term success, when you day trade, there is no long-term. Your long-term success is getting in and out of a trade, whether it's 1 minute, 10 minutes, half an hour, whatever it is. But your long-term success is to fight another day. Your long-term success is at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of 6 months. Am I profitable? That's your long-term success. It's not, oh yeah, did I make money on every single trade? No, you're not going to. Reflect on your losses. Instead of chasing losses, view them as learning opportunities. Analyze what went wrong and adjust your strategy accordingly. Now, you can't adjust your strategy 24/7. That's silly. You have to see if your strategy is going to work. But at the same time, if it's not working and you've tried it 50 times and 49 of them you lost money, guess what? Now your strategy sort of tells me it's the other way around. So you want to look at your strategy and say, am I really just swimming upstream or what? So that's the things that you want to talk about. Now, if you feel that at this point you really have lost touch and you really don't have an idea, I would go to the Gateway Foundation and I would at this point contact them and figure out what's going on. They do have treatment for day trading gambling addiction, okay? They do talk about it, the differences between gambling and day trading, but they do accept insurance. So, and trust me, even if they didn't, it's a lot better off. They have some great articles in here, but you can talk to people, okay? They can talk to you about your addiction. Now, there's nothing wrong with it to say that I have an addiction, whether it's alcohol, whether it's, drugs, whatever it is. They do help you to understand how to control your addictions. Some of the major hedge funds that we've been dealt with and worked with and been there, they've all had psychologists in-house, every one of them, okay? And the reason why is you have people who are MBAs from Harvard, from Columbia, wherever, okay? And if they need a therapist, they need a psychologist, why wouldn't you need one? That's the part that you have to understand, is that if they're doing it, why wouldn't you do it? If they need someone to walk them off the line, why wouldn't you need that? So don't be too afraid to ask for help, okay? See and understand what is it, okay, that we're going through. Because like I said, as much as we love what we do, all right, as much as we really understand it, every single trader at 25x Trading, every trader that we have around the world that uses us, okay, we constantly get calls, okay, And again, we're trying to leverage our business up with people that want to build a career for themselves, not for us, okay? We want to help people grow and grow the right way. We want you to be able to trade with confidence, and build a life. We're not here to promise you that you're going to make $1 million overnight. That's not what 25X is about. We're here to say, you know what? Maybe if you're driving an Uber, maybe if you're working part-time in college, maybe if you're a retired person and you want to make extra income, let's sit down, let's figure out a plan how you can do that without using maximum capital. Take X amount of dollars, leverage it out, and you know what? Limit your risk the right way. Limit it at, and make it something that you enjoy doing. That if you were to lose $25 today, or make $50, or lose $75, would it kill you? No. But if you're going to lose $25,000 in a day, would that kill you? A lot of people it would. It would hurt a ton of people. And if you're saying no, then this isn't for you. So that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to make sure that people trade the right way and view this as a career for them. Not for us, for them. That this is a lifestyle that they're going to have, that they're going to be able to keep in their pocket for 30, 40 years and be able to say, you know what, I make X amount doing this. I didn't have to leave my job. I didn't have to do this. Or I made this into my business, and I was successful doing it. And that's all we do, is we see how successful traders have done it and how they're going to do it, and that's all we're trying to have people understand. So I hope this helped you. If you have any questions, feel free to send us an email, leave a comment, like and subscribe, and we'll be more than happy to get back to you. But happy trading and good luck with everything.